tuning in to the online broadcast network, Afterbuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your number one source in after-show entertainment. Afterbuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Witches of East End fans. Welcome back to the Witches of East End After Show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. We are talking about Witches of East End, sex, lies, and birthday cake. With me today, we have Candice Buenrostro.
Hi, guys.
Sam Davidson.
Hey, guys.
I want to add a rolled R in your name. Sam Davidson.
Oh, that sounds like the name I had before it got changed at Ellis Island, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it.
I want everyone to have rolled R's in their names. Let's talk about this sexy, sexy episode. What did you guys think? What was your overall thought?
I loved it. Been waiting for this episode the whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very sexy. And finally, Freya and Killian, they hooked up. I've been waiting, like Sam said, for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has been long awaited. We wanted some sexy time with Frillian, as the fans are calling them. And we were promised Wendy and Tommy, and we got that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I know I had to watch this episode twice. It was a very complicated episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was very confusing. So let's jump into it. Let's start easy. Let's start off with Wendy and Tommy. Or Tomcat, as people are calling it.
That's so adorable. When I saw that written here today, I was like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of that.
Tomcat.
Right?
Cute.
Yeah.
Well, especially because this episode, Wendy goes out to sunbathe as a cat, which defeats the purpose of sunbathing, right?
Maybe like cats feel really good in the sun, or it's better as a cat. I don't know.
We wouldn't know.
It was random.
Well, I mean, I know that like cats like to sit in the sun. You'll notice if you're like inside and you have an indoor cat, they just sit in spots of
mine does.
Yeah, spots that are sunny. But like when a woman sunbathes, that is also very pleasant.
Yeah.
I guess it's more pleasant as a cat.
Apparently.
Yeah. So she comes back in, transforms back into a human, and Tommy is there. Scared out of his mind.
He was great. I loved him in this episode, and I loved his reactions. They were priceless, and he was so nice about it.
Yeah.
She's a cat.
Like, he kind of, freaked out at first, but then he came around.
Which is understandable. Yeah. It makes sense that he freaked out.
Yeah.
I was glad that he did. I was really glad that he freaked out, and I was also glad that he handled it maturely. Mm-hmm. He was like, I want to understand. And of course, she reveals that she's a witch, which I didn't expect.
Well, how are you supposed to explain that?
I thought she'd say she's a shapeshifter. I don't know why my thought was, oh, she's just going to be like, oh, I'm a shapeshifter.
I mean, you might as well go the full enchilada if, like, you're coming clean. Shapeshifter, witch, like,
Same.
I'd rather be a witch.
Well, yeah, but the witches have the code.
The code.
So if she says she's a witch, she can't tell him and she has to wipe his memory. But if she says she's a shapeshifter, there's no code for that because they're not things.
That's true.
I suppose so.
That's just
point.
where I went on this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Tommy freaks out but comes around. He asks, for more information because he's feeling overwhelmed, which is a great way to describe how you're feeling. And Wendy explains to him, what's going on, what happens, that there's more than just her, that they have a code. And he really seems to take it okay after she sits down and explains it to him.
I'm not sure if it's one of a couple of reasons. One would be he's just a super amazing guy and loves her. Mm-hmm. Second is that perhaps he has a secret of his own.
Right.
I think he has a secret of his own.
Yeah, everybody does.
But do you think that he has he's a warlock or something?
No, but I think maybe he has something weird about him that's semi-supernatural. Because he wouldn't be so freaked out about her being a witch or whatever, or maybe he's just super nice and something bad is going to happen to him.
Well, the first time we met him, we're in the library and he wants that herb book, remember? Mm-hmm. And then the herb book, he takes it and then magically there's another one.
Nice callback.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's good.
So is he really who he says he is? Is he an all human, like all American, but all human, you know, EMT, former soldier who has a code too.
Is it possible that he knew, like had an inkling about Wendy and maybe sought her out?
I think if he sought her out, I think it was more than an inkling. I think he deliberately sought her out.
Yeah. But just to see, maybe he's one of those people, those characters that are obsessed with witches and the supernatural world.
Like last season, exactly. Ingrid had that guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just a paramedic because he uses his power like Dash to help people. Maybe he has some sort of power.
Interesting. All good theories. But we don't know.
He could just be a nice guy, which we find so hard to believe.
Yeah, no, I think none of us believe that he's just a nice guy.
If he is just a nice guy, he's not going to live long.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I like that Joanna and Wendy have this conversation where Joanna reminds her that there is a code and she needs to now wipe his memory and stay away from him. Like, now it's officially over.
That sucks.
It really sucks because Wendy expressed that, like, she's kind of in love, you know? Mm-hmm. She's kind of in love with him, so that's sad.
I mean, the people that Joanna has been involved with, they were all supernatural, but still, like, the woman has had a pretty interesting life where she has broken some rules. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was kind of not fair for her to just be like, oh, well, you know what you have to do, obviously. Like, we're not even going to talk about it. I mean, she's done some things, too, that have gone against the code, but, you know, with other supernaturals, and they all have a whole history we don't know about. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like it was just really not fair.
Yeah, it was very unfair. I agree. Well, so at the birthday party, which we will get to in detail, Wendy and Tommy go off into the stock room to chat and go to Bali. Just let's go to Bali. And then we have some beautiful, beautiful lovemaking scenes.
Sexy time begins.
Yes.
And this might sound like a creepy note, but I'm gonna say it, and I will be called a pervert if I must. In because we had 3 sex scenes going on at once. Wendy was was the only sex scene where she was on top. All the other ones where the men were on top.
That is a bit creepy and very insightful.
That I noticed?
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but maybe it's perhaps that she's older and wiser. I don't know.
I was just noticing, like, whoa, this is a lot of skin for a lifetime. I'm like, they're really taking some chances.
Wait, all you see is back and legs and maybe a butt or two.
I think, it's more skin than I've ever seen on Lifetime.
Butt's a butt.
Yeah.
No?
Well, we've seen Machen's beautiful behind a few times.
Yes.
Thank you, Machen. But we also got to see, a few others and some nice chests, manly chests.
Thank you, Killian.
Yeah. Thank you, Daniel and Eric. We appreciate all that. I just want it out there. Speaking of, so after they have their night together, Tommy walks Wendy home and he, says to her, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "What do you mean what's wrong?" And he's like, "You've had those sad puppy dog eyes all night." And I was like, if she doesn't say anything about the fact that she's a cat, I'm going to be so upset. And of course she says they're cat eyes, which thankfully she reminded him. And so she kind of tries to break up with him. She's like, well, now, we can't see each other and I'm not going to wipe your memory, but like, this is it. It can't happen because, I'm a witch and now you're in danger and you have a daughter. And he was like, I'm not having any of your breakup. I refuse to accept it. And he really is sticking around, which I guess goes back to our question. Is he really a good guy? Is there another motive? What do you guys think? At this point, is it different than before?
Yeah, I think it is different than before, but they might just be really in love. Like we said, it is Lifetime. Like, love exists between two beings that are not the same.
Sam over, yeah. I think they're just in love.
Yeah, most likely no. I want it to be that.
Wait, where is the bug guy?
Which bug?
Oh, Freddie
Prinze Jr.? I don't know. He went home to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Because yeah. Well, because my issue is that it's Wendy's last life. She's just trying to enjoy it. And yes, maybe she's found this deep relationship with Tommy, but she's also knowing that she's not going to last. She's got to really you know, get out there and enjoy yourself. And I want Freddie back. That's all.
Yeah, Freddie, we're talking to you.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, her last life is just as long as our lives right now. It, you know, doesn't mean she's going to live 2 years. Like, she could live to be 100.
Yeah, but she's reckless.
Yeah, she dies all the time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, maybe she'll get it together in her last life.
I actually think I had a dream. And you know when you have those dreams and you wake up and you're like, did that happen last night?
Yeah.
Did I watch that on TV as I was falling asleep? And it was that Freddie Prinze Jr. came back. And I woke up and I was really excited. And then I rewatched the episode and I was like, no, you just dreamt it.
Well, speaking of hot men that we miss and love, let's get to Dash.
Ugh.
So the episode starts, Ingrid arrives at Dash's place and accepts his invitation to brunch because she's a weirdo who overthinks things.
No, this is so not sister code, like, and it's not normal. I really actually makes me pretty angry about that whole relationship. It's weird that she even thinks it's okay.
Yeah. Well, so she goes and she gets to the apartment and sees this kind of half-naked girl.
Burning his toast.
Just
Sorry
like that.
about your toast.
Yeah. And so she, of course, gets all upset in a huff and leaves. Kind of has no right to be.
Yeah, she's not even his girlfriend. She won't even let him take her to brunch. What is he supposed to do? Just wait around?
Yeah.
She's about to be his sister-in-law.
I know. Okay, so we're all on the same page that she has no right to be upset. But of course, he seems very like intense and into her and like really obsessive maybe, because he shows up to Freya's birthday party to woo her and then they go and do it.
So inappropriate at her sister's birthday party.
Yeah.
I just feel like her past lives of her being not good is coming back stronger and stronger, of her not being good in this life.
I think the same thing with Dash.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. He's bad. I've already come to that conclusion, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think he's bad. I don't know. I just think he's really obsessed with her because she helped him like come to terms with who he is as like a warlock and helped him cover up that.
He just doesn't have a good track record, though, you know, in his past lives. Like, if, you know, the stars are crossed, like Freya says they are, you know, and everything happens the way it has, then he's meant to be the same scary, evil person over and over again, unless there's more we don't know about him, which is very possible.
Well, so they have sex, another beautifully done lovemaking scene, and when they wake up, or when they're done, I don't know if they're waking up or if they're just done, she like finds the Blackmail video on his computer.
Well, also too, I love, it's like, I'll just email my
Yeah,
sister and
that's
wish
such
her a
an-
happy birthday. Say
so
sorry.
awkward. Who says that?
I pieced out on your birthday party to sleep with your ex-fiance.
Yeah, I can't call her from your phone. Let me use your computer. But you are there. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's really weird that she seems so level-headed about everything. But this, I don't know if it's the writing or if it's her character, which I hope that she's just maybe has a blind spot with Dash.
Well, I think it's with all men. I mean, look at her track record with men. In past life, she was with what's his name, who was a cult leader and evil, and in this life she found a guy, fell in love with him, he died, and she brought him back to life. She's not very
He was nice though.
yeah, but she doesn't think things through. She's very impulsive with love.
Or it could be that she sees how much Freya is in love with Killian and she knew that they weren't meant to be together. Freya was never really that much in love with Dash. It was always Killian. And as a sister, she probably can see that or read that aura from her.
Do you have sisters?
No.
Oh, me neither.
I do. That's, I think, why this really upset me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how dare she? That is awful. I mean, because also Freya told her about how she took that weird potion and had those dreams about the past life. So it gave her an excuse to do what she did to Dash, almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's messed up.
I'm with Candice. I don't have sisters, so I'm like, yeah, no, I see your point. They aren't meant to be. Before we move on, I want to take a moment to talk about iTunes. Guys, thank you for listening and for watching. Today we have a full panel. We're all back, so thank you. And what we need from you is one simple thing. We clearly are fans of this show, and we would just love it if you could rate and review on on iTunes and comment on YouTube. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could be improving on. If you like our show, give us 5 stars. If you don't like our show, give us 4 stars and leave comments. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know your theories, how you feel about Dash and Ingrid. Is she a bad sister? I don't know. I don't have sisters. And Wendy and Tommy, the Tomcat. What's happening there? Let us know what you guys think. Let's get back real quick to Dash and Ingrid and finish it up. She finds the blackmail video. She confronts him about Kyle and about Kyle's dad. And Ingrid really points out to Dash that he's kind of a serial killer.
Yeah.
Kind of. Did you want to say something?
Well, I mean, he is, and a serial killer means, like multiple, so there's been 2. Right? There's gonna be more.
There's been 2. He thought there was 3.
He thought there was 3. And I love that too, how she pointed that out. I don't know how she realized that he thought that he killed Killian.
Well, I think because the video was she says you left him for dead.
Oh, okay. That's what it was, because she picked up on that very quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
I don't understand why she got so upset to the extent she did, because she helped him hide the body.
Well, I think that's why she got upset, is because she thought it was an accident. It was a one-time thing. It was, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But she's now realizing that she helped him cover up a murder. And if he continues the way he's continuing, she'll probably have to cover up more. I love when he's begging her for her to stay and understand. And he says, you mean something to me. And she says, you mean nothing to me. This just in, guys. We want you to know that we love hearing from you. So keep sending your tweets and comments. We do read every single one of them. That is correct.
Yep.
We love tweeting and responding. A lot of people have been tweeting and responding to us about the show.
Thank you.
Thank you
for doing it.
Yes.
And don't miss a chance to take our very important listener survey on podcast1.com. Your responses will help us make this show the very best it can be. It'll only take about 3 minutes, maximum 3 minutes, and you'll get instant gratification that knows from coming that you helped us out. Tell us how you really feel about the show. Do it after you listen to this podcast. That would be amazing. So go to podcast1.com. That's podcast1.com, ONE.com. And keep those tweets and comments coming. That's all we ask for you guys.
Thanks, guys.
That just in. Great. So this relationship, it's going somewhere. Let's move to the other relationship that seems to be going nowhere. Freya's turning 30, and I love that they explain how it's her birthday and not Frederick's, because I was like, wait, they're twins, but no.
But then people kept on telling him happy birthday. And
well, because everyone knows they're twins, but no one knows they're not human.
I guess, yeah.
So they're twins, but it's her birthday. She's turning 30. It's the first time she turned 30.
She's not even excited, not about being 30, but that she's still alive.
Yeah. But she does point out that she lives at home and she's single and she works. No offense to anyone who lives at home and is single and works in a bar and is 30. I don't mean to be offensive, but that's what she's upset about.
I suppose, but knowing her past lives, I think she'd be a little grateful.
Yeah, that she's alive.
Yeah.
And Killian's flirting with her.
Well, I guess her thought, I'm going to make it a great assumption here, that her thought is that if she didn't continue to live, she would get another chance.
Oh.
Right? Because her curse is to die and start over. So, and he's been in every life. So Killian's bartending at the party. He gets threatened by Frederick to stay away from her.
I want to know what he did in
about?
Asgard.
Yeah. I love that Killian was in Asgard.
I know.
That was a huge reveal.
I was thinking, I asked that question a while ago. Were they in Asgard? When did this pattern start?
Yeah.
And I want to see some awesome flashbacks.
Maybe that's why they're star-crossed, is because they're here and not in Asgard.
Maybe.
Perhaps. So Killian is breaking through his potions and his trouble, and he realizes that he needs to talk to Freya, even though it's her 30th birthday party. So he interrupts her and is like, I need help finding the olives, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
He's not the brightest crayon in the box.
But he's such a pretty crayon.
He's a beautiful crayon.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So they go to the storeroom to talk, And he reveals that he doesn't know how he ended up married. He still loves Freya. He lets it slip that Ava's a witch, which is another huge reveal. And he kind of is like, look, I love you. I don't know what's happening in my life anymore.
It's like he blacked out. He completely forgot.
Don't you think Freya would have put like, you know, 2 and 2 together? Like,
I was hoping she would.
There's a spell. It's not.
I think she will.
I hope so.
Because, I mean, I hope her heart isn't too broken.
Right. I think by the end of the episode, maybe she was like, wait a second. So next episode we'll start with like oh, I get it.
Did anybody see the tweet that Snooki tweeted out that night? She's like, I hope Freya realizes that Killian's under a spell and she kicks some Eva ass.
I do. Snooki tweeted
yeah,
that?
Snooki tweeted that.
Snooki watches Witches of East End?
Snooki,
that is a surprise. That is a surprise. Snooki, you are welcome to join us to talk about the show anytime you want.
Anytime, Snooks.
Yeah. So Freya leaves her own birthday party because if anybody noticed, no one is enjoying this party.
Most
maybe
birthday
Joanna.
parties.
Joanna's enjoying the party.
Yeah, she's been so weird lately.
Yeah. We'll get to Joanna. But she's enjoying the party. Freya leaves her own party and is like, don't follow me to Killian. Of course, he follows her. You know, because when a girl says don't follow me, that's what she means.
Follow me.
Yeah. That's not true, guys.
It's true.
So he shows up and she lets him know about the curse and her past lives and that he's always there and that they're soulmates and that they're star-crossed and they're meant to be. And it was such a beautiful scene because there was just so cute. And she says that she loves him. Sorry, I got so excited because she revealed all this to him and then he's like, screw fate. And then she walks off.
And then
she comes right back. Oh, yeah. And at that moment, I was like, oh, no, it's Ava. It like really, because the scenes earlier, we'll get to Ava and her grandmother/daughter. She was saying, you know, I'm going to get pregnant any way I can. I was afraid that it was Ava pretending to be Freya when she comes back. But then we have a beautiful, beautiful sex scene. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was just very coincidentally beautifully set up with a...
Yeah, so they're
all of a
done.
Sudden there's like a bed right there, blanket.
I mean, I get that they're witches and that they could have made it done, but like somehow they went from just this impulsive makeout to the blanket, the pillows, the candles around it.
And this was the first time for them, right?
Mm-hmm. This was the first time.
Unlike Dash thought.
Yeah. But I just, it sounds silly, but I really love the way this whole set, like sequence of lovemaking was shot, that we were cutting between the relationships and whatever. It was very interesting. It was very sexy and very beautiful.
But like I said about Dash and Ingrid, every time it shot to them, I was like, oh, stop. It really makes me mad. I don't know. I guess it's like a sister thing.
I don't have a problem.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a problem with it.
If you had a sister, you would.
Probably. So they're done, and Freya lets Killian know that they've had past lives together and that, you know, it never works out. And he points out that maybe they're both magic in this lifetime and that means something. Maybe there's a reason. What do you guys think?
Couldn't he have said that in any other life? What is different about now?
Well, he wasn't magical in past lives.
Was he not? For sure? We know that?
I mean, in the disco life, he wasn't.
Or maybe he didn't realize it.
I guess.
Well, I think because he was a different person, he had different names, and he had, you know, sometimes Dash was there, sometimes Dash wasn't. They weren't who they are now. And in this life, they are Athena/Penelope's sons who had magical powers.
So you think that they were only magical in this life?
I mean, I think that they have had past lives where they were magical, like in Asgard. But I think this is the first time in this realm universe that they're both magical. That is my theory.
That's why I watched this episode 3 times and still didn't pick up on that.
Right. It was a very complex, there was a lot of information in this episode. And there was a lot of reveals or half reveals.
What I didn't understand, what Eva's grandmother, she kept telling her, you have to have a baby or you're going to die.
So let's talk about Eva. Perfect. So Eva, at the beginning of the episode, her grandmother, who we have never met before, is all of a sudden staying with them.
Yeah, but she said a few episodes ago, I have a lot of family, like we need furniture or something. She made a comment, but I think the reason that she needs to have a baby is so her grandmother / daughter could live. And
Her grandmother.
yeah.
So Eva's grandmother, who is cooking for Killian, hates him, but
That was amazing, by the way.
it was so funny. But we find out that, because in the last episode we saw that Ava is actually this old hag who I guess is taking magic or like using magic to keep herself young. And so from what I understand, she needs to have a baby to continue to live. She needs to have his baby, I think, to continue to live or to continue to be young or whatever. She needs it.
Why do you think it has to be his baby and not any other warlocks?
I think there's something special about Killian. And we find out
Boy,
later.
is there.
Yes, I also would like to find out what's special about Killian.
I know, me too. He seems like a very dull crown right now.
Well, so Eva talks to her grandmother at the end of the episode, and we see that Grandma is actually Eva's daughter because Eva is this old hag, so we can assume she's older than her grandmother, who I guess doesn't have someone to. I feel like it's the lovemaking act that is keeping her young, that she's like sucking energy out of him.
I guess, but I there must be something special about her that is not in her daughter. Like, why wouldn't her daughter be pouring herself out on this?
I think it's because she missed the window to keep herself. Like, I think she needs to sleep with someone to get young again. And no offense to the actress, but I don't foresee someone sleeping with her. She's not the prettiest crayon.
No, I suppose not.
Yeah,
Maybe she's a little late on that bus.
maybe. Well, so after Killian decides with Freya that they're going to run away, he goes to confront Ava and tell her, hey, I'm done with you. I love Freya. And of course, somehow she gets her claws back into him, adds more of her potion. She even says to her grandma that she needs to keep making the potion stronger because his love for Freya keeps breaking through. And he confronts Ava, and then we see him go and tell Freya that he's not going with her.
That was so heartbreaking.
I don't understand how she didn't get that, like how she didn't put that together already.
I think she's such an emotional person, and she's a very powerful witch, but I think her emotions often get in the way of her powers, her mind and her heart.
Maybe, yeah.
But like he said, I don't remember how it was that we ended up where we were. I love you. She's a witch. All of a sudden, I don't love you.
Yeah. Hopefully she'll figure it out soon.
Next episode, the
Yeah.
light bulb's going to go off.
I hope so.
Please.
Yeah, light bulbs. That's what we need.
Yes.
Speaking of light bulbs, that's not at all what I want to talk about. Frederick and Tarkoff are still trying to find a vessel to put the King Gramps, his soul into the vessel. The episode starts and there's some strange guy that's terrified, and they end up killing him because he's terrified. And Tarkoff points out that maybe the vessel needs to trust Frederick, which at this point I was like, they're going to use Wendy because now she trusts him. That was my fear, and I'm really glad that that's not what they went with.
Yeah, but poor girl.
Caroline?
Poor Caroline.
You know, here's the thing about Caroline. We barely just met her.
True.
I'm not that really concerned with
I'm
her.
not that invested
Right.
in her. I mean,
She's an innocent, guys. Come on.
Sure.
yeah.
We are heartless.
I know. What's wrong with you tonight?
We don't have sisters. So Frederick tries to kill Tarkoff because he's like, F you, man, I'm
Is
done
he
with this.
trying to kill her or just carve that little thing
Well,
into
to
her?
Tarkoff.
Other
Yeah, he tried to kill him. The
Okay.
other
He
guy.
stabs him.
And
But
he came back.
yeah, because Tarkoff reminds him that one, he can read his mind, and two, he's a lot stronger, which is another huge reveal that Tarkoff is something we don't even understand yet.
Yeah, but I also feel like Frederick should understand it and should know. I mean, the guy's been around for a long time, stayed in Asgard, did God knows what with Gramps.
Yeah.
And he just seems so like, I don't know what's going on ever. I don't know. I feel like I knew when he came into the show that he did not have good intentions, but his heart was good, but he's just very confused.
Little Keanu.
Yeah. I mean, I also love this about this show is that the women are so much more intelligent than the men. Like infinitely more.
Yeah. It's a show about strong, smart, powerful women. Yeah. I love it. Mm-hmm. Well, Frederick, I feel like he wants to do what he came to do. He has a mission. But then he got there and remembered what it's like to have a family, remembered who these people are to him, that they're not strangers, that they are his mother and twin sister and sister and aunt. Like, I think that's where he's conflicted. Mm-hmm. And I love when he stabbed Tarkoff because I was like, good, that guy's annoying. And then I was really bummed that he was alive.
Well, and then Joanna and him, I'm like, ugh. You're telling Wendy to not be with her man when you are flirting with the devil.
Yeah, you're flirting with this guy who reveals that, let's talk about Joanna and Tarkoff. He's like very clearly interested in her. He's the one who set her up with Victor. And he's like, I had a crush on you. You were so great and special. She's kind of in a vulnerable place. Her husband kind of just died. And I prefer Alex to Tarkoff.
Oh, for sure.
I want Alex back. She was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't like this Tarkoff fella.
But Joanna just keeps on like changing all the time. I feel like her personality. I just feel like the character isn't that focused on. She's this matriarch, and so they don't focus on her as much. But there's some inconsistencies with her character, and I don't think it's magic. I just think it's how it's played out. But you know, she pretends to be this amazing, intelligent person, but she clearly, her judgment is not super great because look, Tarkoff, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's possible that because she's going through, you know, this mourning period.
But he wasn't with her for centuries.
They still were in love. And she was saying that she always knew he'd come back.
Yeah.
Well, Tarkoff, this evil, evil man, tells Frederick, we need to find someone who you trust. Hey, Caroline would be perfect. Why don't we make her the vessel? So we get to see, which I was actually thinking about during the beautiful lovemaking scene of Dash and Ingrid, Freya and Killian, and Tomcat. So cute. During that sequence, I was like, where are Freddie and Caroline? They should be in this. Frederick is a very handsome man, and Caroline is a girl. So, you know. And then we get to see them. Freddie ties up Caroline, and all I could think of was the season premiere where Victor ties up Joanna and then leeches her, and how it seemed like it was going to be very dirty and sexy. Yeah. I was talking about when we did our first Afterbuzz show, that like he ties her up and he's like, do you trust me? And then he pulls off his belt and it seems like it's going to be sexy. And again, we see that same parallel where Frederick is tying up Caroline and he blindfolds her and is like, you can trust me. Yeah. So then he puts this lotion on her stomach and she points out that it's numbing her. And he's like, yeah, it's going to numb first.
Like, it'll feel good, I promise.
It'll feel good, I promise. But then he says the weirdest thing. So she says, I love you. And he goes, I think you're a little drunk, which is the best way to get out of saying I love you to a girl.
I would be so mad. Like, I don't care if I'm drunk. I love you.
I thought he would just kiss her because that's how you should have shut her up.
Yeah.
Like, just kept talking.
Yeah. And then he says, I'm going to try something. Ugh. And then he says, I promise you won't feel a thing. Ladies, when your man is on top of you and he's handcuffed you and blindfolded you and he says, you're not going to feel a thing, that is the last thing you want.
I want to feel a thing.
Right. I'd like to feel a bunch of things.
Yeah. But she was all like, I mean, maybe she was drunk and just stupid and was like, okay.
Well, he did give her that. What he poured something in her drink before.
He poisoned her. Not poisoned, but like drugged her. It was, come on. Because how could her first thought not have been, wait, what? Why am I not going to feel anything?
Well, then I think, are you being like violent toward like that? You know, that would be the only explanation.
Yeah. it was a very weird. That line specifically really upset me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not going to feel a thing, guys. You're not going to feel a thing.
And especially when she was drinking her vodka, you'd like to zip your vodka or zip it or whatever. And he's like, you got to finish it all. Like, isn't that? Like,
that's the way Ava was to Killian.
Yeah.
You drink up.
Roofies go both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he cuts into her and he cuts the King Gramps seal or symbol.
The seal, yeah.
And we don't know what happens next. So on that note, I think it's time for predictions. Ooh. Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, ladies. There is a lot that we need to talk about.
All right.
You want to start?
I'll start. I am a bit concerned about two characters. Well, first of all, I want to address that one character will die next week. They showed that in the previews for next week. What? Yeah, they did. And I think that it will either be Tommy or Frederick.
Ooh.
I think that Frederick will probably die by the end of the season. I'm not sure if it's necessarily next week, but I don't know. I just he's and in the preview also they showed everyone being really pissed at him, like figuring out what he's been doing.
Right.
So he is not going to be, if it's next week or the finale, I don't know.
There are only 2 episodes left this season, correct?
So then, I don't know, Tommy and Frederick. And as far as Killian and Freya, I think that they will finally figure it out by the finale.
Yeah.
And I also see Dash and Ingrid kind of like by the end running off together into some like evil, crazy path.
I can see that.
All right, Candy, what do you think?
I agree with Sam, though, and I do see Bug Guy coming back, maybe for the finale.
Nice. I hope you're right.
Let's see. And I don't think she's dead. I think he's just gonna turn her into like what he is, Frederick. So.
Interesting. I agree. I think Caroline is going to be the vessel for King Gramps. I think that story will wrap up the season. I don't think it's going to carry over. If someone's going to die, I think it's going to be, I agree, it's Frederick or Tommy. It's not going to be one of the girls.
Yeah.
If it is, I'm heartbroken to say, I think it's going to be Wendy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think. And I think we got all the skin we're going to see this season. I don't think we're going to get enough. Not more.
I like to be optimistic.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, ladies, this has been fun. Sam, why don't you tell the people where they can find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at SamD43 and on Instagram at SamDavidson87.
And you can find me on Twitter or Instagram, Candy Buen, CandiBuen.
Awesome. And of course, you can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you'll find information about the beautiful stylings from Siren's Boudoir. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And we will see you next week for more Witches of East End.
Yay!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.